All right. So in last week class, we prepared the environment. That was what we did. We did an environment preparation to be able to use SSIS in our environment. And today we're going to get into that program to really see how we can build simple packages. Remember, the goal of this class is really to give you an extensive overview of SSIS and SSRIs. It's to open up your mind and help you also to be able to address questions like that in interviews, or if you get a job and that job involves managing SSIS packages, how do you do it, right? Some of you may be seeing this for the first time at your job, but the goal here is to really help you be able to do that. But if you really have to go really in depth in understanding SSIS, what is it all about, how to really build those very complicated packages. Well, this class will not address all that, but at least we'll give you the foundation of what this is all about, and it will help you to be able to move on with your projects in the future, right? So we have to do something here, and one of the things I want us to do is to install SQL Server. And because we have Integration Services Package 2022, Visual Studio 2022, I would like us to play with SQL Server 2022. Um, if you are in a location with very slow internet, it's okay. If you already have 2019, you can also do this with 2019, okay? You can also deploy this package in 2019. But if your internet is fast, I will advise you to go ahead and download Evaluation Edition of SQL Server 2022, and let's do the install, because that's what we're going to do to be able to deploy our packages, use these packages to schedule all our jobs, troubleshoot with these packages, and see how we can really navigate them in a real practical way, right? So I'm just going to give you guys the link so you can go ahead and download SQL Server. So SQL Server um, 2022. Let's go with Evaluation Edition for now. And you can see it here on the link here, SQL Server 2022 Evaluation Edition. Probably this is going to be your first time for most of you installing SQL Server. So 2022, I've done that a couple of times. It's a very nice uh, build that Microsoft has come up with. So this link here, the ISO file, this is what I want us to download, the English one. So I'm just going to drop this link on the what in this Zoom chat, so you can go ahead and grab it. Let's do the evaluation edition, please. Let's do the evaluation edition. But if you've already installed the developer edition, that's fine. You can also work with the developer edition. So it's very easy. Once you click on this link here, um, and you have to go ahead and download the ISO file. It did not open up. So I click again all the time. Oh, it was already downloaded. Sorry, I didn't even see it. It downloaded. So you can go back here on my download, and I have it here. It was already downloaded. I wasn't seeing it. All right, so let me delete it. All right. So once you have it downloaded, I want us to install an edition of, we're just going to do two installations of SQL Server instances, because I want us to use these for the work that we're going to do today. We're going to build packages, and we're going to deploy these packages to different instances, and we're also going to build packages that move data from one instance of SQL Server to another. All right, that's what we're going to do today, and I need you guys to go ahead and install that. All right, so I'm not going to be going through step-by-step installation of SQL Server, because most of you that are here, you already have installed SQL Server countless amount of time. So I'm just going to go through the installation very quickly, and then we're going to go ahead and start. So once you have that downloaded and you launch the installation media, right? If you're doing it for the first time and you click on that and it's SQL Server 2022 installation, it will want you to download the file. I already have the file downloaded, so you can just go ahead and download the media, so you have it as a file on your system, right? You just download the media. So if you once you download it, you have the media. Let me go ahead and exit it. You have the media downloaded, and once you launch the media, it will bring you to this, right? I'll go on installation. I'll do this and I'll pause the video so I can help one or two guys that are having issues. You go on installation, and then you click on standalone installation. So we're just doing a standalone installation of SQL Server. I already have a couple of instances installed, so I'll just keep this. Skip the test because I know my computer meets the requirement. If you already have SQL Server 2019, like I said, you can ignore this exercise. I'm doing this for those that don't have it. You can see I already have a default install of SQL Server installed on this, and it's a 2022. The 16.0 is 2022. Go ahead and click that. I'm using the free edition, the evaluation edition. Accept the terms. And okay, that brings me here. For those of you that already have SQL Server 2019 already installed, if during the installation you have forgotten to install the integration services, you will have to add that feature because we need these integration services. These are the services that will require us to be able to deploy packages to the instance. So you need to check this. So I'm going to add this replication and then make sure that you have the integration services checked, right? And the Azure extension, SQL Server extension for Azure, let's uncheck that for now. This is for 2022, guys. We already have the extension for Azure already integrated. We are going to uncheck that for now. I don't want to complicate the installation. Just leave the default settings. I'm not going to really go into all the best practices installing this. I'll just do default so that I go faster. But obviously, if you're doing it at work, you want to make sure you follow the best practice and get that installed. All right, I'll just get to go. I'll just install an instance called SSIS 2022. Or I may just say SSIS project. All right, I'm just calling a name instance called SSIS project. Okay, so just joining, guys. We're just doing installation of SQL Server 2022. If you have 2019, that's fine. Here I do have an service account that I want to use for this install called SQL admin. So I need this service account for this. I have to put it here. And I have a password. Make the install automatic, and I use the same. I use both a same account for database engine and
una class.
The agent. The agent. All right, run that, and next. All right, so here I just need mixed mode authentication, and then add the user. I'm not going to go ahead to configure data directory log, Maxstop, MDB, all these best practices. I'll ignore it for now. For this install, that's all I need for this, and just go ahead and install. All right, install. All right, so I'll pause the video here, and I'll have a few people, and then let's get that installation going so that we can start. All right, so well, the only thing I was doing here was that I see that he already has SQL Server installed and also integration services installed, but it doesn't run on the service account. So I created an account and made it a local admin on this computer. I want to change that. So let's double click on that account and make that account the service account that SQL is running on. Just browse it, and type there SQL admin. That is the account that you created and made it a local admin, SQL admin. Check the name. Check it. Just check names, please.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Click OK and go ahead and put the password. All right. Okay. So yes, restart it. And I want you to go ahead now and change the service account for all the instances that you have installed, right? Using that one, that service account. Hold on. Make sure this one is working first. Yes, it's working. So go ahead and change the rate, and then you should be good to go, and then we can start. Stop sharing.
Okay.
Let me close this and open it again. Thank you for that reminder, guys. Every single time I'm supposed to record something, don't expect to raise your hand. Just shout out, and I will do that. I forget that a lot. Okay, so we already have SQL Server installed, at least everybody, with the integration services added, the feature added. So now we're going to just go back and launch a Visual Studio. That is what we installed in the previous class. If you are watching it for the first time, watch the previous video for how to prepare your environment for Visual Studio. So here, once I click on Visual Studio and launch it, it will require me to either create a new project if this is my first time using Visual Studio, or open a folder for an existing project that you have, or open a solution. When you create a project, you edit the project through the Visual Studio solution. So this is what we created in the previous class, the chaotic underscore SSIS Module 1 project, and it created a solution for that. So if I can launch that solution, I'll open the project that we were working on. So we click on that, and it opens. All right. So I'll take about 2 minutes, and I'll be right back. Like I said, guys, if you haven't changed the service account, like here, you can ignore that. That's fine. But if you fail, and I have time, I can help troubleshoot it for you. All right. So remember last class, we already started by looking at this interface and trying to understand what this interface is all about, right? On the left side here, you have your SSIS toolbox, right? Which shows you everything that you have on the SSIS packages. On the right side here, you have what is called a Solution Explorer. And on the Solution Explorer, you can see everything that has to do with the package. For example, this is the solution that we're working on. And on the solution, you have any project parameters that you need for the SSIS packages. If you have any connection manager, they will be here, right? And then you have the packages that you are actually working on. Right now, we have 2 packages that we created. I'm going to show you how to do that. And then you have control flow, and there's also already the built-in link Azure resources like Azure Runtime Integration and Azure Storage, right? So right now, we are going to go ahead and create a package. And you can see clearly here on the SSIS package under this solution that we're creating right now, you can right-click and create a new package, right? So let's just right-click that and create a package. And when you right-click, it always creates a default package called package1.dtsx. But you don't want to have it like that, right? That means nothing. You want to name package what the package is used for. So I'll go ahead and rename this package, and then just call it here data import. For example, let's just say we're doing a data import. We want to import data from SQL Server package, the SQL Server instance to another. That's what we want to do. And I can just set that package. Now, this now is a package we're deploying called a data import package, right? On the left side here, you have the data flow tab, execution a SQL Server tab, for example. I might create a package, and which that package is just to execute a SQL Server statement for me. I just want to execute a SQL Server statement. I want SSIS package to do that for me. I can do that. or I can really create a data flow, which means I want to move data from one point to another, maybe from a SQL Server instance to another. I want to do maybe data load on a weekly basis, right? Then you need a control flow, for example. So let's start off with this, our data import task, and go with the control flow. On the data flow, double click on data flow. So guys, can you mute yourself? Is that, do I have any one here? Let me make a couple of people admins so they can meet some people for me. Renee, I'll make you co-host, please. Can you be muting some people for me? Okay, you're already co-host. Please, if you're a co-host, can you please help me mute some people in this class? I want to have a quiet environment so we can teach freely. All right. Do I have any caretaker instructors here? There are quite a lot of people on the forum, and I can't see who's here that can make. All right, not seeing who are those. But guys, if I make you a co-host, if you see that you're a co-host, can you just help me when someone's line is noisy, just mute it? Okay, good. All right. Okay, we were here, and we are on the data import task that we want to create. And I just mentioned that you can create what is called a data flow. So if you can either hold this task, drag and drop it like this, right? Or you can just double click on it and it appears on this. All right, so let me delete some of this. So this is how you do it. Now, this data flow, the data flow tab is just helping to see data is moving from this point to a next point. Now, if you double click on data flow tab, right, it brings you now to what are you really doing, right? What is the data flow, right? Of course, it's a data flow tab, but you have to configure the data flow. Where is the data flowing from what to what? That's why when you double click on this, you see that the icons here have changed. Let me go back. If I click here, you see there are different icons on this, right? These icons here, what you can do, you can just do data flow task. You can do and execute a SQL segment. You can do bulk insert, execute a SSIS package, execute a process, and all these different tasks that are here. But now when you select a data flow task, it now tells you, okay, data have to flow from one point to another. All right. So that's why you now click on it, you see source and destination. Right. So I need data to flow from source to destination. So I can say I want data to flow from if I say the source, which is an OL, let me say, all right. Okay, so you see, these are the commonly used tasks that you have here, right? If I minimize this, these are the ones that people use quite common. And here, this is the source, and this is the destination for the data flow task. So if I now click on the source, right, it now tells me, okay, you want data to flow from one point to another. Where is it coming from? Is it coming from a SQL Server or an Excel or a flat file? Right? Now, these things here, for you to be able to move data from one source to another, you need to create what is called a connection manager, right? And that brings me back to this point here. If you look here, under this package, you have what is called connection manager, which means you need to create a connection. Where is the data connecting to? And it is also going somewhere. That's also another connection manager, the source connection manager and the destination connection manager. You have to be able to establish that for the SSIS. Right?
No, we don't really talk about no.
Whoever
We're not going to send you that
can you
this.
mute yourself, please? Thank you. You have to create a connection manager, right, to be able to do that. On the connection manager, you can create it here, directly here, and say new connection manager, or at the bottom of the page here, you can also add connection manager, right? So right now, we don't have any connection manager, meaning this data flow task cannot work because data has to move from one point to another, and we need to know where is it connected to. You see, the moment I go on the data flow task and I say source data, it says down here connection manager. Right now, there are no connection managers. So you can either right click here and create a connection manager here, or you can just go on the whole package under the solution, right click here and create a new connection. Anywhere it's fine, right? So let's just go back here and right click here and then say a new connection. Let me close this up. Let me do it again. You right click here and you have multiple different connection managers. You have new OLDB connection, new flat file connection, analysis service connection, new file connection, or just new connection. I know very well I want to create a connection where data moves from one SQL server to another. So if I create OLDB connection, it will require me to say, okay, where is it connecting from? I want to create a brand new one, right? And it requires me now to put the instance name that I want to connect to. All right, so let's take one step back on this connection manager to understand what we want to do. Let me close it, close, and close. All right, we are here on the data flow tab. Now, that's why I needed you guys to install SQL Server instances so that we can use that as a connection to establish the connection manager. So I'm going to go back here and launch SQL Server just to show you guys what we are connecting from. So I have SSMS here loaded. Okay, so once it opens, I can just go here. I have instances installed on my computer. So if I just go on the server name and browse, let me make sure I can connect to the instances. I have two instances of SQL Server here, a default instance and a one for SSIS focus. So let me just go ahead and connect to it, make sure I can connect to it. Connect. And this new SQL Server, this box here, this trust server certificate, if you're doing it for the first time, always check that box to allow you to be able to connect. So I can connect to my default instance. And then let me go ahead and connect to the next one as well. I have two instances that I installed here. This one. Right? And trust server certificate and connect. All right. So you can see I'm able to connect to these two instances. I do have no databases for this. So I'm just going to have a couple of databases. I'll just download a couple of databases and use this here so we can do the work. And so I want also to download Adventures Work 2022. Let me see if there's 2022 available, and then we can restore it here and use it. So let me see Adventures Work. I don't know whether they have released the 2022 Adventures Sample database. I don't know whether the 2022 is released or not. Sample data. Oh yeah, 2022 is available. All right. So we have 2022. So if you're working on 2019, SQL Server, download the 2019. All right. So I'm just going to download the 2022 one. And it's a database that I want to download. So this link, let me send this link on the chat for those who don't have it. All right. So I have the Adventures Work. I just want us to have at least a database that we can use for this to establish the connection manager, right? Okay. Okay. Let me make sure that everybody is getting it right. Can we, do you guys have the link? Have you downloaded Adventures Work? Can use ODBC to connect to multiple different sources. Like for example, if I want to connect maybe Oracle into SQL, you can create ODBC sources to be able to establish the connection. That's what ODBC are used for. And when you click on that, it tells you that you need to create an ODBC source or ODBC destination, right? That's what that is used for. All right. Okay. So right now, I'm assuming that the Adventures Work has been downloaded. Let me go ahead and share my screen one more time. So if I check here, you see my Adventures Work is downloaded. So I'm going to just copy this somewhere and put it somewhere on my C drive so I can use that. I put it on my temp folder here on the C drive, and then I will restore that database in one of the instances. Do that just one, please, because I need to move that to a different to different. So I'm just going to restore that on this default instance of SQL Server. So right click here and restore database from devices. I have on my C drive, on my 10 GB. So C drive on the 10. That's a file here. Okay. And okay. Why is it failed? Database was backed up on its running version incompatible. Compatible? Did I download a different version? Why is it saying that it's a different version? Meanwhile, I'm running SQL Server 2022. I downloaded Ventures for 2022. Hold on, guys. I think it's not picking the right one. See here. Downloaded this one. Not letting me. Let me try the data warehouse version. I don't know why it's saying that the version is not compatible, even though I'm downloading Adventure World 2022 and I'm running SQL Server 2022. So I don't know why I'm getting that error message. Let me try one more time and see. Okay, same error message. The version is incompatible with the SQL Server, which supports version 3.4.5. Either restore the database on a server that supports a backup or use backup that is compatible with this server. Okay, it's compatible. Let me try this other one and see. If it's not working, I can also do the 2019 and upgrade, right? It's also possible to do that. So let me try this one now. See. Why am I doing all this? Just because I want to create a connection manager to be able to do that. So restore database. Let's start one more time. And if you already have Avengers work on your system, you don't have to do this, right? You don't need to do this. You already have Avengers work database. So let me try this one now. Okay. And problem. So probably these guys rushed too much and uploaded this Avengers work. So I'm going to go ahead and download the 2019 Probably might have rushed and get this when it's not yet compatible. For some reason, it's not picking it up. So I'm going to restore the 2019 version. Down. This one. Here. Let me try to restore the 2019 now. Oh. Drive. 15. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. I got 2019 restored. So it's 2019, so I'm going to just rename this to 2022 and I'll upgrade the database, right? Ventures Work 2022, 22, but then the database has a 2019 compatibility, so I have to upgrade it, the database, so it runs on 2022 compatibility. So on options, you can always change this from 2019 database to a 2022 compatibility, and then the database now has been upgraded. Okay, so same thing, right? I guess that the 2022 that was uploaded online is not yet fully compatible. So please don't download the 2022. It will give you issues. Go with the 2019 and then just upgrade. So at least we have a database here. So let's just go ahead and add 2 more databases. Let's just create more databases here. I'm just going to create one here called DB1 database with no data in it. Okay, and create. All right, so I have 2 databases here. All right, so you guys understood what I was trying to do? I mean, really nothing. I just want to have at least a database in one of my instances that I can use to create a connection manager. So let's go back to SSIS. we're here on Visual Studio, and I wanted to create a connection manager. So on this connection manager here, right click, and let's say create connection manager. Now I can say new. So right now, since I know the instance name from SSMS, if you've forgotten, you can just come here and copy it, right? Right click here, go to properties, and copy the instance name if you've forgotten what your instance name is. So I know my instance name is a default and it's called KWTech, so I can just copy this name here. And then this is the connection manager that I'm trying to establish. So once I go here on the new, I want to use Windows authentication. Right, browse doesn't show me anything, but I can type the name directly, right? Because I know the name. Right, so once I type here, authentication mode is Windows authentication. It will now find the databases that I have under that instance, right? If I click here, I do have these two databases, the Adventures Work and DB1. So I want to do that first of all with this Adventures Work. So I'm creating a connection manager on this instance, on this database, right? That's all I need to do. And then click. Now you can name this connection manager differently. So you can do test connection to make sure it can connect. Yes, it can connect to that instance. So I click OK. Now this is the connection manager that I have. All right, for this Adventures Work. And I can click OK. Now you have it like this. If you want to rename it, you can always rename this, right? Give any name to it, to this connection manager. And you know, because at least at this point, I know that it's connected to an instance of KWTech, into a database called Adventures Work 2022. So I'm fine with the name, but I can always change the name. Okay, now I want to create another connection manager, I want to move data from this to the other instance that I install. Remember, I have two instances here. I want to use this as my source, and this is going to be my destination. So I need to create another connection manager here. And this one doesn't have any database, so I'll create a database here, an empty database. And what I really want to do, I just want to move data from this to the other server, right? So I'll just create a database here and call Adventures Work AW 2022, right? Import it. Just put it like that. All right. Okay. So there's just an empty database on this instance. So back here, I can create a connection manager that will connect to that source or that destination, right? So just right click and say new connection manager. This time around, I'm creating a new one. And I know the instance name, so I'll type it. If you don't know, you can go back here. If you forget, you can just go here, right click, go to properties, and copy this. Copy this. Copy. Okay, so I'll put it here, right? It's a name instance called SSIS project. And down here now, I can see the database. I just created this empty database. This is going to be my destination. And I can test to make sure it can connect. Yes, it can connect. And then click OK. And you see now I have two connection managers here now. See? So I have these two connection managers. All right. So that is how you create connection manager. You can also create this connection manager to flat file. Let's say, for example, the next exercise I'm going to show you guys will be importing data from a flat file into SQL Server, right? You can also establish this connection manager to Excel. For example, if I was trying to get data from an Excel file, I will not connect to OLDB. I will connect to a file, right? I'll just do a file connection, right? I click on it, and then you see you can get an existing file or you create a file and so on. You can do that. Or you can just go here on and really pick up the connection from an Excel file. For example, if I go here, I can say, I want to connect this from the source. The source is going to be a flat file. For it. Other sources. Here, you go under other sources. Scroll down here. You can see Excel source, a flat file, OLDB source, raw file, XML source, and change data capture source. You can get any other sources here. of data, right? It must not just be from SQL Server. So I'm going to do two exercises today. One from SQL Server to SQL Server. One will be from a flat file to SQL Server, or from SQL Server back to a flat file. These are just simple packages. I don't want to build any complicated things, because I just want you to understand how packages are built, how you manage them as a database administrator working in the field. Okay, that's just what this exercise is all about. So let's first of all just deal with the SQL Server to SQL Server for now. So we have established these two connection managers, and the data flow. What am I trying to do on this data flow is that I want to move data from an OLDB, a source, right? You just click on this, that's the source where my data is coming from, right? You see the X time it has not been configured. And so you have to configure where is the data coming from. So if I double click on it, I can now say connection manager. Where do you want to connect to? At least I already have two connection managers here. Drop down here will tell you the two connection managers, right? Which source? Where is the data coming from? It's coming from, I want to move the data from this, right? That is where I'm moving it from. And then you can move tables, name or view, variable or SQL command or whatever. You can do anything on this, right? So I want to connect to tables or views in here. And which table do you want to connect to? It gives me all the tables that are under that database of HSWorld 2022. Right? Let's say I want to connect to this particular table called person to person. This is it here. I'm making a connection to that. And then you can go here and check the columns. These are all the columns that you have on that table. All these columns, right? So that's all. I want to make a connection here, and you can view it and just see this is the data that is inside that already. If you check it, you see that it's giving you already an overview of what data is really inside that table that you're selecting, right? So that's all. And then I can just go ahead and then click OK, right? You see now the X sign has disappeared. It's just a connection to a table, nothing else, right? It's just a connection to that table. Now, you've established the connection. So let me just keep rewinding. We started off with a control flow, right? Control flow just tells you I'm moving data from one point to another. So if you double click on the control flow, it will open the data flow, right? You're moving data from what to what? From an OLDB data source, right? And you have to configure where the data is coming from. I want to move data to this table, right? And then you can now say to a destination, right? So OLDB destination. So this was sources. We were on other sources. I need to move it to a destination, and I need to move it other destination. We are under other sources, under destination, and you can also see that I want to move this data also to, are you moving it to an Excel sheet, OLDB destination, flat file, and so on. I need to move it to this as well. So I bring it here. So you can just double click or hold and drag. You put it here. So we're here now. Right? And you can clearly see now that I have my source, and I can now create a precedence that this source is moving to this. Right? I link these two. I see the X sign means that the destination has not been configured. Where is the data moving to? Right? So I can now double click on this destination and say, I'm moving this to a different connection manager that we created. Call this. Right? And I want to access tables or views and so on. And what's the name of the table? Right click here. I don't have a table. No table or view could be loaded. You can create a new one. Once you click on create new one, what it's going to do is that it's going to give you a random table creation script, right? And the random table creation script loads the data based on the data from the source. Remember, let me close it. Let me close this one more time. Right? Now close this one more time. Close it. Close it. And then go back to the.
I don't understand anything.
Where we are coming from. You can see that on the source where we are coming from, right? We are trying to establish connection to this person table, right? And if you look at the view, you see that these are the columns on that table. So when you link this to a destination, this destination will automatically pick the same table with the same column name, and you can just change the name. So if I double click, here and say new table because I want to move the data. It says create table OLDB destination. So I can just rename this to any table or I leave it like this. Right? Remember the table name was person table. Was a person table. So I can just create another table on the destination or person table. Person. Right? This is the same columns that we had up there. And then click OK. Now on the mapping part now, what you're trying to say is that I'm moving data from a source to destination, right? There's a business entity ID, a column name here is moving to the same. So this is just matching one-on-one. But if you wanted to change that, on the source it's called business entity ID, but on the destination, I want to have a different name, you can literally change it. Or if you wanted to say the data from the source to be matched to something different, you can see the arrows here are pointing and matching one-on-one. But you could also match this directly to a different table. I don't want to change the order, but you can see that it's matching one-on-one. That's just what I want to do, right? I just want to move data that is from one source to another to match them one-on-one. So it clearly shows me this. So you see that once I do this, the error message that was pointing here disappears. And SSIS have what we call the start, which now helps you to execute the script that you've established. So what am I doing here? I'm simply moving data from this to this using a simple SSIS package called data import. So if I click on start now, you have what we call a debug, right? This window here, right? This window here tells me how the package is running, right? You can see the package is running. And if there's an error message on this package, this is where you will troubleshoot the package to see whether there's an error message or not, right? Say package executed with success. You can see it here on the progress here. Clearly here that the package was executed with success. And if there was any error message, it will show you the error message here and will help you debug the error message. So this window is called a debugging window, right? Where you can debug issues that are happening within the package and fix them, right? So once you run it, unless you stop it, the package keeps executing. And if you go back on the flow now and look at it, you see that it's executed successfully. I can click on close, right? Stop it. Now that you did that, remember we had moved data from this to this. This table, there was no table in it. Now if you expand now, you're going to see that there's a table in it now. Refresh. Wait. Wait a minute. Do it. Right? Yeah. Inside the table though. Let me go back again. Okay. Okay. Oh, but it succeeds, but it looks like data is not being loaded. Go back here and refresh. Not doing that. Hold on, guys. Let me see why. Let me first of all go back here and let me make sure there's a table here called table here. And there's a person table. Oh, did I put it back on the same? Oh, yeah, see what the mistake is. Let me do a select statement on this table. Let me just do a select statement on this table and see something. I'm seeing where the problem is. So here, select statement, you select star from this dot see how many records are. So I have in these about 19,000 records. Okay. And up here, you X from this one here. I think this is going to be the same thing. Okay, so this is an empty table. So let me go back again on connection manager and verify where I created it. Hold on. Flow here. Manager. Here, sorry. So this manager. Okay. Into this instance. From this source, this destination, creating with identity, create, want to create this table called create that. Of the of start again one more time. Okay, so this is what I'm going to see. Okay, so it succeeded with no problem. It runs successfully. You go back again and verify. Check here, check the table. Check the table. All right, let me get this from one of your screen and let's try one more time and let's see. Let me stop here. It's not creating a table on my side, but it has to do that, right? Well, if you still don't do that, we have another way you can do. You can just do a select into statement that will pull the data directly into that. All right. Let me have someone share their screen. Let me do it one more time on their screen, and then I'll verify why it's not working. Let me have someone else doing. Okay, Alex. All right. Good. Okay. Let's do it one more time. All right. So if we're going to start off by creating a connection manager, right? So let's right click. Let's create new connection manager. All right. So these are the different connection managers that you can create, right? You can clearly see here the connection manager we're trying to establish. Scroll down, you're able to see this connection manager. Exactly. OLEB, yes. Click that one. That's the connection we're trying to establish. So there are just different types of connection you can establish, right? So click on that, add. Okay. Now we're creating a new one. So click new. All right. Now type the instance name here directly. You don't, yeah, just type the name directly. If you don't know, you can go back to SSMS and pick it up. All right. Okay. So on the drop down menu on the bottom where you have the database, no, cancel that. You have to, yes, on the database, click on the drop down menu. Which database are you trying to establish connection to? Click on that. Okay, there's no database in there. I asked you to, okay, you added a database, but on the prod, but then you have to click connect to the prod instance, not the default instance. Go back to SSIS and make a connection to prod instance. Just put a backslash prod. That's the connection. Backslash, please. Backslash. That's the front slide. There you go. There you can see all the different databases that you have in there. All right. So let's do the Adventure Work 2019.
Doc, the provider here is only what is it? OLEDB SQL Server native client.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Quick. Select that one. 2019. And then okay. All right. So we're making that connection. That's the connection that we are establishing. All right. Click okay. All right. So then let's go ahead and add another connection manager to the destination. Right. That's the source. That's the destination. Yeah. So just add that connection manager destination. You have to create the connection manager first. You're already adding the data flow. You have to create the connection manager first. Close that. Close it first. Close that. Just exit out. Just yes. Yes. No, not configure anything. Close it. Just use the delete button in your keyboard. It will delete it. Good. Go back to connection manager and create the connection manager. Remember, you can only move data from one point to another if you've created a connection manager, right? So it's the same connection manager. Yes. Add. Then create a new one. Now you are creating it to the. Don't click on the drop down menu, Alex. It won't show you anything. You have to type the name. All right. And here, there's no database, right? Click on the drop down menu. There's no database. You can create a new database and just you only have your system databases on the new instance, right? Go back to SQL and let's just create an empty database in there. Just put an empty database. Just put an empty database in there.
But what should I call it so that it's generic?
AW Ventures Work 2019.
AW. Okay.
2019, please.
2019.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Just an empty database. All right. So go back to connection manager and establish the connection to that.
Okay.
You have to refresh that. It will not show you. Refresh it.
Okay.
Refresh up.
Up here?
Up. There's a
Oh,
refresh button there. Okay. Go back now and check. If it's there now. Okay. If not, close it and do it again. All right. New. Type the name. Type the name. You keep doing the same thing.
Okay.
All right. So you can see the database now. All right. Good.
Okay.
All right. Click OK. So those are the two connection managers that you created. Just connection managers. You can create any connection manager where you have moved data from or to and so on. All right. So now on the control flow, let's go back to control flow. Right. All right. So it's data flow tab. We're doing a data flow tab. Right.
Okay.
So double click on that. Double click. Okay. When you double click on that, it says data flow from where to where. Where's the data moving from? Right.
Okay.
So I want data from OLDB source to another OLDB source. That's what I want to do. So scroll up and let's look for OLDB. All right.
Right here?
Yes. Data source. No, not OLDB. OLEB. Yes, that one.
Okay.
No, not the source. I want to look for the source. If it's not showing up here, you can scroll down and go to other sources. Yes. Sources. All right. Good.
It's still not here. I don't see it. Is it? Oh, I don't see it. Do you see it, doctor?
hold on.
I only see.
No, you're
Oh, see
not on
this.
the other sources. These are on common. You have to scroll down a little bit.
Okay, wait 1 second.
Yes. Other sources.
Okay.
All right. That's it there. You can just double click or you drag and drop. If you double click, it pops up there. And you have to configure it, right?
Okay.
All
After
right.
this, right?
Yes. And exactly. So where's the data coming from? So you can say I'm connecting,
Okay. So we're
right?
here, right?
Yes. You're not
So
creating a
we
new one. You already have the connection manager created. This is
Okay.
at this point, you can previously create a connection manager and just connect to it, or you can start the whole process and create the connection manager directly here. Right? On the drop down menu, we're going to drop that menu and select the connection manager. Yes, that one. That's the one we want to connect to. That's our source. And the data, the table, which table do you want to connect to?
Okay.
The bottom. Yes.
Here,
there.
right?
Yes. Let's make a connection to that person, the person table. Keep going. That
Right here?
one. Yes. Select that table. That's the table I want to connect to. All right.
Okay.
Click OK. All right. You can see now that the X finder was there has disappeared. Right. So, all right. So now we want to load this data to another OLEDB source. Right. So go to destination. Other destination just below that.
Yeah, I just wanted to close that here because too much was open. The destination right here. This
All right.
one right
That's
here.
it. Yes. Pull the data. Okay. Very good. Now connect the top to the bottom there. Okay. Now double click and let's connect. Let's configure the destination. All right. Now the destination is already pointed to the right one. Yes. And then the table, you're not going to see any table there because there's no table, but we can create a new one.
Okay. So new, right?
Yes, the new. And it gives you that create table, right? Well, that create table.
So we should change the name to person or
Yes.
person.
Correct. All right. Okay. You can change that already because it just gives you a random name there.
Person or person. I forgot
No,
how to
there's
spell
no.
it.
You will not have a person on the schema is not there. So you put
Okay.
DBO. Just put DBO dot person.
Okay.
DBO dot person.
Is it spelled right?
Person. Remove that
Oh,
E.
uh,
All right. Okay. Click OK. Okay. So the mapping. It says the mapping column. You have to click on mapping. Just make sure it maps correctly, right? This is what I want. That it maps rightly. If there's anything that changes, you can fix it here before you continue. So click OK. All right. Okay. So at this point here right now, you've mapped it successfully. You can go ahead right now and execute that packet. Run the packet.
right here.
Run the packet. There's a start button there that says execute. That's up there.
Once, yeah.
Start. Click on the start.
I can barely hear anything, dog. It's like there's this
At the top.
voice.
Okay. A lot of noise.
Okay.
Let me mute the people. All right. Click on the start button.
I don't even see the start.
Because
One
you
second.
probably
Yeah, zoom.
muting it, blocking it.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me do something real quick.
You can also follow Dr. Arrow.
I'm pointing to it. Yes. Click on that.
I had to
Okay.
zoom
You
it
can
down.
see it's down here. It's telling you everything that's doing and so on. Right? It's still running. Give it some time. Give it some time. Don't move. All right. You can clearly see here it's loading the package. Right. I don't know why my own is failing because probably that database is not working in there. You can clearly see it's loading. And when it's done loading, you can see how many rows are being loaded from source and are being inserted into
9,498.
right?
Now it
It's not
increased.
Done. It's not done. 19, right? You see, successful. So now if you go to your destination, you're going to see that there was tables that the data has been loaded to. Go back to SSMS now and do a select star on that destination table. Expand that table now, you should be able to see it on the destination. Apparently, it worked quite well with 2019. I'm pretty sure my problem was 2022 that I'm using.
Right here.
You see the table is there. Do select star on that table. Select star from, drag the table and drop there. And then run that statement. It should give you the same 19,000 records that you had on the top. Yeah, connect to it. You are running on them against the master database to change the database name. All right, run it again. Voila. You can see here 19,000. That's exactly what I wanted to show. Right.
Okay.
So it's working quite well for you with 2019. So let me try it again. I think I know what I did wrong. I think I did not put the schema name when I was creating my own table. So let me
The
do it again.
DBO, right? Yes.
Yes, I didn't put that schema name when I was creating mine. So let me go back again.
Right,
this is the package we are trying to create. So let me stop this. And then we'll go back to data flow. Here on the destination data, I forgot to put the schema name here. So let me try it. DBO, right? DBO dot person.
Pearson. Yep.
This person, the person table. And then you check on mapping to make sure it's mapped correctly. Click OK. Check mapping. You can see it's mapped correctly. All right, that's fine. That's what I want to do. And just go ahead and execute it one more time. Let's see. Yeah, I think it was failing because I didn't put the schema name. So it didn't see what schema the data was going to come from. And that's why it was failing for me. See? So clearly here, I'm loading data from a source to destination. Remember, guys, you have this task all the time at your job, right? Do me a data refresh. Like developer comes up to say, hey, I want to do me a data refresh from this table only. This task like this, you can use import and export wizard, but you can just assume that you have to do this every single day at a particular time. You can create an SSIS package for it, which just move data at this particular time. When the job runs, it runs this SSIS package, move data from this source to this destination at this particular time, and you have it all the time. So now if I go back now on my destination, I should be able to see the table. Fresh. What the magic? Why is it not working for me though? Fresh. Let me find out. It works, but for you, Alex, but for me, it doesn't want to.
Why don't you,
Let me try. Connect. Database. Expand. Table. I don't see it.
wow.
Go back again on the packet. You know what? I'm just going to do it again. Probably there's something wrong that I did. Let me stop this. Let me verify one more time. So, source connect here is connecting from this table, right? So the table, okay, and it's connecting to this, which is this. You know what? Let me just create a new one now. New. Table. EVO. Click OK. Please meet the people. Really? Okay, that's two. That's okay. Click OK. So I'm expecting this a map Looks good. My part. Right. Now, if I run the package, it really shows that the data is being imported and loaded to the destination. Allow you to complete. Yeah, successful. But if I go back here, destination and check table, I don't see it. I don't know whether this is something with 2022. It works quite well with 2019, but 2022, it's not working. Hold on, let me check here. Maybe the data is coming back on the same table here. Let me check table. You see, it's the table is loaded back onto the same source.
Yeah, maybe the connection is
Yes,
right.
the connection. I'll have to verify this connection. Let me verify that the data actually goes in here. Let me do select. Let me open a new query here and do select. Guys, can you just mute? Please, can you guys help me mute these people? It's so annoying though. You know. All right. If you're a co-host, I've met a couple of people here co-host. Can you please help me just mute a couple of people when they're making that noise, please? Thank you. All right, so let me verify. Let me check, go back again and check again. All right, so I'm here and I'm seeing that there's a table being created on the same. So probably there's something wrong with my connection. I have to verify where the connection was created. So let me run this and see. Indeed, the data is being inserted, but the problem is that it's creating the table on the wrong, wait a minute. Hold on. Oh, I see why. The connection, let me go back again here. Stop this. Five here, we verify here. The connection is connecting to I see. Yeah, you can see there. It's making that connection to this is wrong, right? Carrytech.adventures2022 is wrong. This is making connection back to the same source. This is wrong. It was supposed to be connecting to this one. That's where the problem was.
Yes.
Right? It's supposed to connect to this.
Do you have to have
And
two
then-
instances? Or you can have one instance and have two databases moving one table to another database? Does it work that way?
You can work that way. You can move data from one, you can move data. Sorry, I got what your question is.